Hi guys, 18 here with Quiet Author Update. I am doing my best. I'm sorry for that last video. I rewatched it and it was so wobbly, and if you stuck with me, thank you so much. If you didn't, I don't blame you one bit. I still don't have the phone capability where I can flip the video mid-video, so the only wobbly part hopefully this time will be when I flip from me to my iPad. But otherwise I got a tripod, and so the rest of the video will be a lot more stable after that. I've had a really good week illustrating. There's a saying in the illustrator world for children's books of show, don't tell. And a lot of that has to do with word count and attention span for the little ones. You know, we try to keep it between like 650 to 850 words per children's book is kind of the sweet spot. And so you don't want to take up those precious words with filler words that you don't need, that the pictures can tell you. So you wouldn't say like the little girl had on a red polka dot dress or whatever. Like the pictures would show she has on a red polka dot dress. So just get to the meat of it, you know. So this is my 9th picture book, and I feel like I'm finally starting to understand that idea on a deeper level. And it sounds so simple now that I'm actually executing it well, I think. But it took me a really long time to get here. But for some reason with this book, it clicked more than it has before with anything. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to put this in the tripod while I'm talking to you guys and see what I can do here. Hang on. Oh, is that working? Maybe. Okay, so this is one, I can't remember if this was ready last week. Like I said last week, I have probably 4 to 5 videos, or sorry, 4 to 5 illustrations I'm working at one time, so I never quite remember what we last talked about. But for show not tell here, what I think has been so fun is, you know, adding this little dog Howie, Adele, if you're watching, that's after your Howie, and having him, there's, you know, I guess there is one stanza in the beginning about how he's sick, and so the little boy can't go to school, and of course he's not sick. The little boy just doesn't want to go to school. So, but there's going to be subsequent pictures where he shows up, and now he has a leash in his mouth, just kind of wanting to go for a walk. It's not anything to do with the story, but just kind of a fun thing, I think, for a child to pick up on. Also, it hit me this week too, because the mom doesn't have any dialogue. I gave her, let's see, I gave her one cartoon bubble. This is not going to be how it looks in the end, but the cartoon bubble says, Georgie, we talked about this last night. Remember? Now please get dressed. Because I'm going to tell you. Basically, this whole story is about a little boy who doesn't want to go to school, and his mom is just trying her best to keep it together and get him there, because she knows once he's there, he will have a great time, and she also has to get to work. So I didn't want anybody, and I'm sure there will be people who review it and say, oh my gosh, this mom doesn't listen to her child. What if something's going on at school? Blah, blah, blah. So I just want to make it clear through the pictures and a little bit of this kind of dialogue that mom knows Georgie is perfectly safe and loved at school. He just is being dramatic. So I wanted to say, like, they've talked about it. She's not, you know, ignoring her son or anything like that. He's just kind of being dramatic. So that's her only dialogue in the whole story. And at the end, I actually worked on this too, as just sort of it's going to be a blank page, just illustration without any text, to just show them kind of unwinding at the end of the day, you know, to show them talking, and the boy is happy, you know, and everyone's glad he went to school. So there was nothing traumatic. I'm sure people will say otherwise at some point, but anyway, that's that. Oh, so also with Show Don't Tell, so we have the dog, and you know, we have Mom. So here, her hair, she's getting ready for work. And her hair is nice and done. And then as the pictures progress, her hair gets more frazzled, right? So she's coming a little undone here. You know, again, not in any of the text, but you can just see her getting, by the end, she's very frazzled. And here, I hesitated about this one. You see them both very red-faced. And I added some tears for Mom last night because the little boy isn't looking at her, and she's just kind of gonna let herself lose it for a minute, because it's hard on us too, right, moms? It's hard. Those mornings were really hard, but they did it. And I love these hands more and more. So you all helped me with that first big hand on the first page, if you remember. This one. And I don't even know, I love this about writing and drawing, is I didn't even have this whole vision at the beginning, but several people stopped me after that video and said, I really like that drawing you're working on with a big hand. And I just thought it was funny. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll do that in a couple pictures. And I've ended up doing it in quite a few. Like this is one where he's just holding onto her leg. And I just think it, you know, a picture says 1,000 words. Like, you know, when your kid doesn't want to let go of you, it feels like that anaconda, right? So I'm having fun with that. Let's see. The other thing I want to mention is I have another book coming out soon that I really should have been talking even more about than this one. I don't know if everybody who knows me knows this, but I've been working with a Catholic nonprofit for the last, I guess, 3 or 4 years. Sorry, I'll just do one at a time here. Called Edmondite Missions, and they're based in Selma, Alabama, and they do incredible work with food programs, nutrition programs, education and employment opportunities in rural and impoverished areas. You know, they're based in Selma, and it has just been truly eye-opening and such an honor to be working with them. My dad knew somebody there who got me started years ago, and at first I was like, what are we doing? How do I write a book, and like a children's book, and weave in anything like nutritional? I don't know if that sounds fun, but we've had truly such a blast. And anyway, this was the first book we did, called Rice to the Rescue. Rice is not the name of the dragon. It's literally a bowl of rice. The illustrator here is Andy Ketch, who is phenomenal. And then our second book in that series is called A Tale of Lost Treasure. And so these books have a fun little story. They're kind of a story within a story. And they have recipes at the back of the book, like really easy recipes that people can get from, I think they said like the dollar store. They can cook them all in a microwave. They don't need a stove. So if you don't have a lot, you can still get some good nutrition. So we weaved some of that into the story, and it was such a challenge, but it was lots of fun. Anyway, we have a new one coming out called The Sidewalk Safari, and we're about to start work on the activity book, but we just gave final approval for the picture book yesterday. So I think the Sidewalk Safari and this little book I have with a big hand will be coming out at the start of the school year, hopefully, if we can get all that done. And anyway, if you're interested in supporting those causes, well, the Edmond Dyke Missions is a very worthy cause. You know, the other stuff is just me on my own, just having fun. But I think the story with the big hand. Okay, I'm just gonna say the title. It's just a mouthful. It's called "So Sorry, No, Nuh-uh, No Way, I Cannot Go to School Today." I'll have to think of an abbreviated title for that. Maybe just "So Sorry" when I talk about it. But I think that is also a very worthy book because drop-off times can be so traumatic for parents and kids, and I feel like this book could really bring some levity and laughter to those mornings, and even like the night before, to help start preparing them. You know, I had one kid who loved going to school and one kid who hated it, and I think any kind of tool that helps you get through those mornings is really useful. Okay. Thank you guys. That was kind of scattered, but I've just been thinking I'm so behind in this video, and I want to get it out so I can try to do one on Sunday and get back on track. But thank you so much, and I hope you guys are having a good week. Bye.